Hi there boys and girls, Bruce here with another viewer's question and answer session, and today I've got a question from Cher, who is asking, amongst other things, about the delay designer. I've done another video for that you can go and check out, see the link below. But he also asked he's interested in getting a good set of plugins for drums, electric bass, electric guitar and keyboards. And he wondered if I had any suggestions. Well, firstly, if you're a Logic user, then you are going to find that you have a lot of instruments already built into Logic, which are really fantastic in my opinion. For drums, you've got first of all you've got the drummer up here. I'll show you that there. You've got the delay drum kit designer. I'll show you that in a second as well. And for drum machines, you've also got Ultrabeat, which is kind of an old school drum machine, but you can put normal drum samples, analog drum samples into it as well, and use it as a drum machine in that way. I really like using Drummer. Maybe not partial to all of the sounds, but I find it a really good tool to work with to get ideas going. And the great thing about Drummer is you can build a drum loop, and I'll show you this, and then you can convert it to MIDI. So bear that thought in mind, and I'll show you that in a second. Alongside that, in terms of other things which you might want for songwriting, particularly for keys, the vintage electric piano here in Logic is really nice. I use that all over the place in many things, along with the Clavinova here, which is also a really good virtual instrument for you to use. You have here the EXS24, which is a sampler, and that gives you access to a whole wealth of different instruments. There's a lot of stuff there that you can get a lot of mileage out of. So these are all the things that are kind of built into Logic, and I would encourage you to explore those to their full extent, and if you've got any questions, please do drop me a message, and I'll be more than happy to give you a bit of a more in-depth in using some of these Logic instruments. But don't think you really need to go beyond Logic to begin with, because actually there's so much mileage to be made from what Logic has given you. That's why it's such a great value for money package. So there you go. I will just those are the Logic instruments that you might want to consider using. Obviously, if you're into synths, there's a lot of synths here. These are the new packages in the latest version of Logic, the strings and the studio horns, if you're into that kind of writing. But from your question, I'm guessing maybe that's something you want to consider later. But if you've got a sampler as well, you're going to get a lot of horn and string samples there. So let's just jump out of here. So this is my drummer track. Let's double click on that, brings this up, and this is where I can address how the drummer works. If I want to make it complex, simple, it's a nice way of getting a beat going quite quickly. But the great thing I find is you can right click on this and convert it to a MIDI region. So this has taken that performance there, and if I just take this down to the Birch kit, which is from the drum kit design which I made earlier, you can assign it to a different drum kit, for example. So let's put that on the studio kit. And that didn't work too well, but so that's something I like doing. Once you've got a drum pattern from Drummer, if you don't like the sounds within Drummer, although they're quite good, putting it into a drum kit designer. The other plugin I mentioned before is also, if I go down to here, is Ultrabeat. Let's turn the delay off, which is an old school drum machine. You've got all your kind of analog drum kits here, but drum kits, but you've got a whole wealth of them here. So let's go and put that beat on some drum and bass, for example. Let's take that down, put it on drum and bass. So 3 different vibes from one simple MIDI pattern. So I find that a useful tip for drummers, and also hopefully showing you that there are a wealth of drummers within Logic that you already have access to. So now if you're thinking about going on to, and these are my recommendations perhaps for external drum kits, or at least the ones that I use. First of all is EZdrummer from Toontrack. Here you can buy lots and lots of different drum kits. It comes with a number of built-in drum kits, but you can buy expansion packs for different styles of drum kits and different styles of drums. This is the kind of cut down version of Superior Drummer. Superior Drummer for me is a little bit more complex than I need it to be, because I like to try and use real drummers if possible. This is just mostly for sketching ideas down, and of course this is a multi-output plugin, so I can control different sounds and I can mix each sound as I would do from a normal drum kit. So I find this really interesting. The other great thing about here is with each of the libraries you get a whole series of, let's find something, drum patterns which are broken down into songs. So you can build up songs from each of these different variation patterns. That's quite a quick way of working. It has a song builder in. I might do another video on how you use EZdrummer to create songs, because it's quite a cool. But you can also over time increase your library. There are add-on packs of different types of drum patterns, again, which are really useful and inspiring when you're trying to create drums, and you can assign them to different drum kits. Let's just go for the blues, big old blues, and try and play that alt rock pattern. Not sure that really works for me, but you get the idea. Moving on, the next, talking about keyboards, is EZKeys, and this is exactly the same as EZdrummer. You get a whole library and you can add into this library. I haven't really done this because of something I'm going to talk about in a minute, but electric pianos, grand pianos, upright pianos, and very similar to EZdrummer, you can get access to a whole bunch of add-on packs which give you parts are pre-played, and you can just drag them and build a song up, and also change the chords and build your own patterns up. So this is a great quick tool to get working, but it also sounds really nice as well. So you get the idea. That's just the electric piano, and there's presets as well. You could make it dirty, and obviously you've got these controls down here. So that's a great electric piano, and normal piano. There's a grand piano in here as well. Let's play the grand piano when it loads up. So there you go. So that is EZKeys. Moving swiftly downwards, probably one of the, if you're really looking to invest, then something like Native Instruments Komplete will set you in a good direction. So Komplete comes with, most importantly, Kontakt, which is a sampler. So let me open up Kontakt on the screen. Being a sampler, it comes with lots and lots of built-in libraries, which are sometimes, you know, nicer than some of the built-in components that you get with Logic, but also maybe more tailored to a specific sound that you want, rather than the kind of generic piano sound. So you can hear you've got an upright piano, a grand piano, horns again. This comes with quite a lot of drum kits. It comes with vintage keys. It comes with a guitarist plugin, which gives you guitar chords and guitar notes. Some of these are my own that I've bought added on afterwards, so ignore some of these. You've got a concert grand, you've got the factory library. So if we quickly go down to the factory library, get a brief idea. You've got all these orchestral samples. If we go into a band, you've got acoustic pianos, electric pianos, drum kits. These are bass guitar instruments, which are, so you've got a P-bass, a Music Maker bass. You've got the Studio Drummer, which is really a drum kit that I use quite a lot. Going further down, you get all these more pianos, more vintage keys, organs, and analog synths. And I use retro machines quite a lot as well. So as you can see, you get a massive wealth of content, and you can start adding in external libraries, maybe like Spitfire if you're into film composing or want to use strings. There are a whole bunch of other libraries you can add in. But that's not it when you get Komplete, because you get the whole Native Instruments package. which includes Absynth, which is a great synth for soundscapes and droning. You've got Battery, which is another drum machine, a drum machine sampler. You've got FM8, which is a FM synthesizer based off DX7. Massive, which is another big synth, and Reaktor, which is basically a language for writing your own synths, but it comes with a whole bunch of components. So if you're into experimental music, this is great. All of this comes within the Native Instruments package, so it's really a great value for money, particularly when you see all the sample libraries that you get with Kontakt. Moving on to my kind of final two recommendations, and again, I'm not really talking about synths here. I've mentioned synths a few times, but you've not said anything specifically about synthesizers, so I've not talked about those, but these are just for kind of generic songwriting. So another drum machine from Spectrasonics is Stylus RMX. This has some great expansion packs and is a great tool for maybe more experimental drums, but creating great drum cuts. That's a little bit fast tempo. So there's a lot you can do with Stylus RMX, and the drums and the samples are pretty fantastic. And finally, if you're looking for bass, the one that's always kind of left out, Trillion is again from Spectrasonics, and it is a total bass model. It has a whole bunch of synth bass, but it has normal bass instruments. So let's load up the Fender Clean, the full range. And this is probably, I would say, the ultimate in bass libraries. It does take a while to learn how to use it properly, but it sounds phenomenal when you get it right. You get the idea. I'm not the world's best player on the keyboard, but there you go. So there is a recommendation of a couple of different instruments that you might want to check out. There are others out there. Many of them are sample libraries, so that is why at some point most people perhaps tend to end up getting Kontakt somewhere down the line to add on some of these third-party sample libraries. So if you've got any more questions, please do drop me a line. And for everyone else, thanks for watching the video. If you like these videos, please do subscribe. And if you have any questions you want answered, please do drop me a line and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. I've been Brucey. I will catch you later.